Good morning and welcome, everyone. We are just really blessed to have you here with us. We want to especially welcome all of our media friends coming from near and far to be with us this morning. This media conference is being broadcasted live through KNXT Channel 49 this morning and will be repeated again this evening at 6 p.m. It is also being live streamed on our diocesan website at www.dioceseoffresno.com. Again, it is a joy to have you here with us today. The Most Reverend Armando Xavier Ochoa has been our bishop since his installation on February 2nd, 2012. On April 9th of 2018, Bishop Ochoa submitted his retirement letter as prescribed on his 75th birthday, and we began praying for whomever our Holy Father, Pope Francis, would select as his successor. With gratitude for the gift of Bishop Ochoa's pastoral presence among us, it is a privilege to welcome Bishop Ochoa and his message for us this morning. Bishop Ochoa.
Thank you very much, Teresa. It's with praise and thanksgiving to Almighty God. I'm thrilled to inform you that today in Rome, our Holy Father, Pope Francis, as many of you have already realized, announced the appointment of the Most Reverend Joseph Brennan as my successor here in the Diocese of Fresno. At the same time, I received yesterday a message from the Holy Father that my retirement officially as of today was accepted. And as a result of that, I was also in that same decree appointed the Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese of Fresno for the next 57 days and a few hours. Who's counting, though? Who's counting? Because on May 2nd, as Bishop Brennan steps up to the plate, as he would show, or maybe goes in for a slam dunk, might be more appropriate this morning, I will then certainly become the Bishop Emeritus of the Diocese of Fresno. Over the years, I've come to know Bishop Brennan as a man of great faith and extraordinary talent, great administrative skills, and a love to call all of God's people with the heart of Christ. And after 7 wonderful years as your bishop, I know that the clergy, the religious men and women, and all God's people will welcome Bishop Brennan with open arms and open hearts. Since his 2015 appointment as auxiliary to the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, and once again, and something else we have in common, not only was he ordained by Cardinal Manning, who ordained me 49 years ago as a priest, but he was also ordained a priest by Cardinal Manning as well. And Cardinal Manning at that time was our first bishop of Fresno, and Bishop Brennan now follows as the 6th bishop of Fresno. He was and has served in San Fernando Valley as the Episcopal Vicar of the San Fernando Pastoral Region. One of the 5 pastoral regions of the Archdiocese are both home archdioceses. He received his BA in philosophy from St. John's Seminary College in 1976 and a Master in Divinity from St. John's Seminary Theologiate in 1980. And after his ordination to the priesthood, he served as associate pastor at Immaculate Heart of Mary Parish in Los Angeles, and then the parish of St. Linus. And he won't remember, but as an auxiliary, I went over to St. Linus and confirmed his students at that time. And then at the Cathedral of St. Vibiana in Los Angeles. And later on, he was a pastor of St. Linus in Norwalk again, and Holy Trinity in San Pedro. And after becoming Vicar General and moderator of the Curia, he was in residence at the Cathedral of Our Lady of Angels and at Mother of Sorrows Catholic Church, once again in Los Angeles. He's been a chaplain for the Knights of Columbus in California, a member of the Council of Priests and the College of Consultors of the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, and sat on the Board of Catholic Education Foundation, the Williams Charitable Trust, and Together in Mission which is really the Archdiocese's annual appeal. We look forward to officially receiving Bishop Brennan when he takes possession of the diocese on May 1st, 2019, and is installed as the 6th bishop of the Diocese of Fresno. We had to pump or prime the pump a little bit this morning, so officially, I invited him to be principal celebrant and homilist at our upcoming Chrism Mass, and he will join us officially at that particular time. So I'm thrilled at this time, and I hope that you welcome my brother, Bishop-designate for the Diocese of Fresno, Bishop Joseph Brennan.
Thank you, Bishop Ochoa. Thanks for all of you for being here this morning. I didn't know I did all of that stuff, quite frankly, so it's nice to be reminded. I should not begin with a complaint either, but my communicator is faulty. I've tried several times. Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me, and there's just no response on this communicator. Full disclosure, I'm half Irish, which is probably a really good thing, because the full-blown Irish experience can be pretty intense sometimes. But being half Irish, I think we're okay. If I were 100% Irish, we might be here for a while, because you put an Irishman in front of a microphone and they tend to lose control, and you put them in front of a lot of microphones and it could be really dicey. It's hard to see the forest for the trees here, but I'm trying to communicate as clearly as I can. It is wonderful, absolutely wonderful to be here. I want to begin with just a simple gratitude, a simple word of thanks to Bishop Ochoa, to a number of you who have just welcomed me beautifully already, to all of you who are here, and a special thanks to His Holiness, Pope Francis. During some of my confirmations these past few years, I'll ask the kids if they're studying Spanish, and many of them are. So I give them a slow pitch, right down the middle of the plate so they can hit it easily. I ask simple questions. So I would ask them, how do you say thank you in Spanish? Gracias. Okay, good. How do you say thanks a lot? Muchas gracias. How about 1,000 thanks? Mil gracias. And then go one more. You know where this is going. How about 1,000,000 thanks? Un millón de gracias. I love the way that language, and so many others, ours too, that the many ways we have to express our gratitude and our thanksgiving. There's even a song that is sung often in our Spanish prayer groups and at our Spanish masses. I'm going to sing a snippet of it, so be patient with me. And if you know this, please sing it with me. In fact, I'm going to sing it once, and it's so easy you can repeat it. And it goes like this. Un millón de gracias para ti, Señor. Un millón de gracias. Repeat that, please. Humor me. Un millón de gracias para ti, Señor. Un millón de gracias. Yes, 1,000,000 thanks, Lord, for this day. 1,000,000 thanks, Lord, for this diocese. 1,000,000 thanks, Lord, for the service of your servant Armando, our Bishop Ochoa. 1,000,000 thanks for those who, through their blood, sweat, and tears, support all of the life and the love and the ministry that take place here in the Diocese of Fresno. You know that for me this is bittersweet. I've known since February the 19th, President's Day, that this was going to happen. I didn't think I would get another phone call from a papal nuncio, so I've gotten 2 so far. I hope that's it. I really do. And they change your life. And they do change your life for the better, although you don't think so at the time. And you're called to do something you didn't think you would ever be called to do in your whole life. And you're called to go places you would never have thought of and would never have chosen on your own. But you say yes. You say yes. And not just in obedience, but with a willingness of heart. And I think that's the spirit that I want to bring to every day of my life, and that I want to inspire in everyone I work with here at the Chancery, everyone I will meet every single day. Now, this is full disclosure. I turn 65 in a few weeks, which means Bishop Ochoa doesn't know this, but I have signed a 10-year contract with the Diocese of Fresno for about $330 million. So wait, if Bryce Harper can do it, those baseball players, if they can, why can't I? No, I do have a contract, and I'm going to be the starting power forward for our diocesan basketball team. I actually played basketball a lot as soon as I was able to. Up until 2 weeks ago, this is, again, full disclosure, I played my final basketball game. I did. It was a priest versus seminarians basketball game in my region, the San Fernando region, for the benefit of the vocations office there in Los Angeles. And I tried to prepare, tried to lose a few pounds, tried to get to the gym to work on my cardio. I did all of that. But there's really nothing like basketball shape. So I was careful, and it was fun, but my knees still hurt, so I'm done with that. But it was so much fun to be a kid again, to be a child again. And that is such a key word for us today, apart from la palabra más clave, la palabra gratitud. Es una palabra clave. Es el espíritu que hemos de llevar en nuestro corazón día tras día, momento tras momento, en todo momento, viviendo en ese espíritu de agradecimiento. Y vivir así se puede resolver un montón de problemas. ¿De acuerdo o no? Yes? Do you agree? I hope so. But there's another word that I love to use, and I don't want to embarrass my boss, because he's still my boss for 57 days. Not you, Bishop Ochoa, but Archbishop Gomez, for whom I have an immense admiration and who's been so good to me. And these last few weeks has just been a good teacher and a good mentor, because I couldn't talk to anybody about this. And it's kind of hard to process and get through it when you can't talk to anybody. So I'm so happy today to be able to talk to you about it and to begin that dialogue with my family and with my friends and to prepare all of us for this move. But through it all, the other key word I'm thinking about is identity. Nuestra identidad. Y en el rinconcito, lo más profundo del corazón, existe un niño, un muchacho, una muchacha la más preciosa en el rinconcito, lo más profundo del corazón. That is our true identity. And Archbishop Gomez teaches and preaches and writes a lot about that. It has a fancy term, Christian anthropology. So it's who we are as human beings, as part of creation, as the summit of creation, as sons and daughters of God. And I did bring my book, although I don't really need to read it today because it's my favorite passage from the Scriptures. And it's here, and it's here. And it comes from the first letter of John, chapter 3. It's the beginning of that chapter. And it gets to the heart of the matter. And as I read it to you, remember who the audience was. Grown-ups, adults. And St. John writes, See what love the Father has bestowed on us in letting us be called children of God, yet that is what we are. The reason the world does not recognize us is that it never recognized him. Dearly beloved, we are God's children now. What we shall later be has not yet come to light. We know that when it comes to light, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Everyone who has this hope based on God keeps himself pure, as he is pure. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Now, we get in trouble, I know I do, when we forget who we are, when we forget our deepest and truest identity, because it's only someone who has forgotten about that who can abuse someone, a child or an adult. It's only someone who has forgotten that they are God's favorite son who can threaten violence or terrorism against another. It's only someone who doesn't remember, I'm God's favorite child, who's forgotten that, who can use abusive language toward another. So, we pledge today, in this brief introduction, we pledge today to remember who we are when everything else is taken away, stripped away. There's this precious little child standing before God, vulnerable and transparent. And we need to remember those who have been hurt by those who forgot who they were and who they are. I have a dear friend, I suspect she might be watching this, back in Los Angeles. My singing partner, who I've known for years, her name is Anna Betancourt. And I've known Anna since she was a little kid, when she had to sit on a kind of a little bumper seat up in the choir loft at St. Linus down in Los Angeles so she could play the organ. And she has the most beautiful voice. I've seen her grow up. I taught her husband how to be an altar boy. I did their wedding. I baptized their children. I've sung for Anna in her choir. And Anna, if you're listening, I still bear the emotional scars because you're such a tough director. But I love that about you, because you insist on, not perfection, because you know you can't get that, but you insist on excellence. She wrote a beautiful song. I'll sing part of it based on that scripture from the first letter of John. And it goes like this. There are days I wonder who I am, forgetting that what really matters is whose I am. I am yours. There are days I worry needlessly, forgetting all I need to do is trust in you faithfully. I am yours. I am yours. See what love the Father has given to us, that we would be called the children of God. Yet that is what we are. That is what we are. We are God's children now. That is who we are. That's who you are. That's who I am. Thank you for your welcome today. And God bless all of you and everyone in your circle of family and your circle of friendship. I'm done. Thank you. Yes. So, did you want to maybe introduce the Q&A?
Thank you very, very much, Bishop Brennan.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Teresa.
From here now, the next thing that we can offer is that if the media would like to have any questions, answer time, and then also both Bishop Brennan and Bishop Ochoa are available for one-on-one interviews as long as time allows. So any questions, you can direct them to Bishop Brennan or Bishop Ochoa. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Allegations.
Yes.
Is that still the plan? What is your plan now to prove, that current plan?
My immediate plan is to follow the plan that is moving. And it's a process of review that will actually continue, because it has begun, but will continue in earnest in April and May with an outside group that the diocese is asking to review all of those potential names that we need to release. Yeah.
Are these potential names, are these priests that are still working? Are they still serving other parishes?
I would hope not, but I don't know. I would need to be briefed on that. Yeah.
How you're going to restore the community trust after or because of the sex abuse crisis?
Well, trust needs to be earned. It's really never deserved. So all I can do is live my life as deeply as I can, to be as faithful to the gospel as I possibly can. Let my life speak for itself more than my words, because there's an occupational hazard, I think, for any of us who are trying to live the gospel life. In other words, because we were reminded about it almost painfully this past Sunday, where Jesus uses the word hypocrites, and it applies to a lot of people, I think myself included, because no human can live up to this word all the time. No one of us, myself included, can hit that target every time. But God knows we're trying to do that. And in our trying, we will fail. No doubt about it. But I think being simple, being honest, being humble, and making victim survivors the top priority in all things. And then if people want to trust that, I hope they would. And if they don't, I would understand why.
And what's your message for those families who might be feared to report and they don't want to talk about it because maybe they think they're not going to listen to me?
Well, that's almost like the first casualty for them in all of this, especially if they were a real little child, susceptible and vulnerable when whatever happened to them happened, because they were, in all probability, told not to tell anyone. They may have been threatened. Someone may have threatened to do something to their family if they talk. They may have in their, which is why they're so vulnerable, their beautiful childlike way, have somehow had so much respect for the perpetrator, in fact, or seen other people respecting them, that I can't speak because I won't be believed. So we must encourage people to speak. And we have, I know certainly in Los Angeles, and I'm getting familiar. I haven't even really been here for 24 hours yet, and I don't start until May the 2nd officially, but I know that we have victims assistance ministry here. We do. We have personnel to help us in safeguarding the children. So we will do what we can, but I can't restore lost innocence. I can't repair that damage. I really can't. And I can't really insist that someone trust me. All I can do is ask and live my life as authentically, as deeply as I can.
People appreciate transparency.
Yes.
And they have seen an improvement. They have seen an improvement, as far as letting people know, when there's a problem, with a certain priest, or a certain church. So they really appreciate that.
Yes.
Is that going to be the rule for every single case that comes to the attention of the diocese? And at what point is law enforcement going to be involved in your investigations?
Well, when it comes to reporting an incident, the law enforcement should be the first call, not the last call, or even the second or third. It should be the first call. So, and transparency, yes. If we're aware of a perpetrator, if we're aware of inappropriate, untoward behavior, then our first call, it really should be law enforcement. We need to collaborate with them, and I suspect I have a wonderful relationship with the LAPD in my region. On an archdiocesan level in Los Angeles, and I think it's happening here too, we have a great relationship with, and are utilizing to great effect, for example, retired FBI agents who are helping us in investigating and ferreting out the truth. We want the truth to be told. We do. We want perpetrators to be held responsible. We want accusations to be confirmed or to be exonerated, because that can happen too.
I think Bishop Brennan already began to reach out to that particular question. We are in phase 1 of reviewing all of our cases that date back to 1922 when we were at the Diocese of Fresno, Monterey, Fresno. So we are reviewing those, and any area of concern is going to be flagged. And because of that, then we'll know what the credibility might be of any legitimate accusations. That hopefully will answer your question. I think that's phase 1, to be followed up then possibly by phase 2. And because there might be out in the marketplace, and we continue to, as Bishop Brennan already said, we continue to invite people who might have a story untold to please come forward. We need to hear those stories.
One last question for you. The Diocese of Fresno reopened an investigation into Reverend Miguel Flores from Bakersfield. Why did the Diocese of Fresno reopen that investigation into the allegations of Reverend Miguel Flores from Bakersfield?
That is we've just taken him out of, he's on an administrative leave of absence being paid. But that particular one is going to be an internal investigation. We received a credible allegation that dates back to many years ago. And so we are re-looking at that particular one right now.
Do we know if these allegations took place 17 years ago, or back in Tranquility, these allegations that took place? Or?
Well, we're not at liberty to go into that right now. This is under investigation, so we're just in the entry of looking in that. As soon as this is credible, as soon as we have enough information, we will be making a statement at that time, though. Thank you.
Bishop Ochoa, how many cases are under investigation so far in the diocese?
We only have 3 right now on administrative leave. Temporarily, they are on administrative leave until we come to a final decision on their particular status.
What are these 3 future in the diocese?
Sorry?
Either or.
I didn't hear the question.
The future of these 3 individuals in the diocese. What's the next step?
The next step is we're basically, once again, looking at the allegations against these particular men and to see if there is reason to allow them to come back into ministry, or then to possibly see where we go from that. Some are on the verge, possibly even of retirement, so we'll have to wait and see where that goes.
Also, in the Central Valley, we have many undocumented people, and they usually look for spiritual support. So what's your message for them? Because nowadays they are fear of many things, deportation, many things. So what's the message?
Pues el mensaje es, somos hermanos en Cristo, somos compañeros en una sola familia y pueden contar con nosotros, nuestro apoyo, nuestra ayuda. No hay, en este caso, no hay ninguna cosa más importante que acompañar al hermano en su necesidad. Y la iglesia es un tipo de refugio para ellos y para nosotros. Y recibir al hermano como hermano y diciéndole al hacerlo que a nosotros no nos importa de dónde es, de dónde viene. Lo importante es que está delante de nosotros en necesidad. Y aquí estamos. Here we are. We're here to help you. We're here to accompany you, to accompany a person in their need. That doesn't get much more important. Thank you.
Bishop, your last name, Brennan, does not suggest Spanish.
No, soy puro gringo. Soy yo puro norteamericano. No, I'm still studying Spanish. I love the language. I love language anyway, all language, because it's connected with music. And you have already seen and heard, I love music. And language is so closely related to it. So, no, I'm still studying Spanish. I love that work. I've been to language school twice already in Mexico. And so the third time's a charm. So hopefully I can go a third time. No, I fell in love with the culture early in my seminary days. Fell in love with the language, and I'm still in love.
¿Qué le dice Bishop Brennan a la gente que está desilusionada con la iglesia, pero que ustedes quieren mostrar que hay mucho bueno también, no todo es el lado malo? ¿Qué le dice a la gente en sus esfuerzos para ganar su confianza nuevamente?
Pues les diría que siempre hay esperanza, que en algún sentido, como seres humanos, nos fallamos, que solo Dios, en Él confiamos. Y la iglesia no es perfecta, es la familia del Señor, y como cualquier familia, pues tiene pues unos fulanos, unos hijos pródigos, tiene sus santos, y la mayoría de nosotros en medio de los extremos. Les diría que Cristo Jesús siempre está a nuestro alcance. Él está a nuestro lado y podemos nosotros contar con Él. That would be my message of hope to them and to myself.